discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Discussing that heat in the street, and we got just what you need on Vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone. I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what
All
you need.
alone.
Vitamin G. Ay. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need, a dose of this vitamin G. Vitamin G. Vitamin G. Got what you need.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone.
Vitamin G, got what you need. Vitamin G, got what you need.
All alone.
Vitamin G. Hey, final round. I already know how I'm coming, man. Yeah. Tryna run the town. Tell no duck when they hear that sound. How they gon' come up now? Heavy as the head that'll wear that crown. I'm going pound for pound. And if it's about smoke, then we talk all of that. from an ounce to a pound. Take it, they biting this now. Cause my drip right up the seat. How could they be? Give me a couple of rounds. Cause I'm a beast when I'm on vitamin G. You see, they start crumbling now. Mad struck, start mumbling now. Get the gist, I ain't reaching for cloud. Plot twist, I'm the one with the keys. Clock blitz, know they look how I freeze. Different continents, I be torn. We living life, making yours look boring. See, we win at the end, it's a spoiler warning. Cause I keep heating up, I might blow the whole planet. They calling me toxic like global warming. But they keep tuning in once again and again. I'm the one at the top, just to form a warning. Truly, I'm De Niro when it come to movies. Get De Niro, entertain the groupies. Habanero if you come pursue me. But I hop on the game, too busy rolled up whenever my girl getting moody. Let go with the gang, we all go insane. Catching them bills on the duty. I'm in Stixie, I'm locked in. Bought a box, I was like 10. Back then, used to box, nowadays they ain't throwing hands. Mama said we got more advanced. One thing about me, I adapt, bought a Glock fin. Keep me safe from the block in. The game kept me off the block. Ain't got flex about looting my Ruger. I can shit on you with my computer. See, my graphics card costs more than your damn job can afford to pay you. And my monitor, big as hell, detail, so I can see when I spray you. Then reload the clip and record the clip. It's go all say to that SSD. Know a whole lot of trill game heads like me wanna see tuned into that VGP. Take over the west and the east, and we got just what you need on vitamin G.
What's going on, everybody? It's your boy Dante Crisis back with another dose of your weekly vitamin G. And with me today is the esteemed panel, the cacophony, the pod, the goddamn gaggle of fuckboys that I decided to call my friends and fellow podcast members. First of all, Mr. Lit, as always, Jubei Sensei. How have you been, my guy? What have you been up to?
I've been good. Nothing too crazy this week, just work mostly. So, yeah. I haven't got a real chance to play as much as I'd like to this week. Hopefully I'll fix that going forward.
Alright, cool. Mr. Farrell, what have you been up to, my guy?
Not much. Playing the same old games. Something new that I played this week was Streets of Rage 4, a little side scroller. Beat 'em up. Other than that, it's been pretty chill.
Streets of Rage is the shit, man. Love it. Alright, Mr. Zero, what have you been up to?
Yeah, it's a fun game.
Yeah. Mr. Zero, what about you?
What's going on, good people? Actually, pretty much the same games, right? Nobody Saves the World, Elden Ring, and Valkyria Chronicles. Still just having a blast. I think I'm just about done with Nobody Saves the World soon, so like I can once again refocus all of my time and attention back on the Elden Ring. Just can't stop playing it, man. It's such a good game.
It is. I mean, it's also like one of the biggest like kicks in the dick ever sometimes, but it can be fun. It can be fun. There's no doubting about that. But
Actually hit a bit of a wall. I feel you. Like it's have you been to what is this place called? Where the ants are? Have you fought the ants?
yes,
Yeah,
actually,
those ants, yo.
I have been there. Yes, I have fought some of those ants. The ants are not that bad. But the ones with the big fucking heads and the ones that fly are the biggest pains in the asses ever.
Yeah, and
Yeah, I'm talking about bug snacks.
Nah. Game of the year bug snacks.
Yeah, game of the year bug snacks.
I'm at the boss, or at least one of the bosses. These two gargoyles. And
Yes! You're finally there!
Oh boy.
They are
Oh boy.
beating
Yeah, they're tough.
my ass.
You are
Hold on. Do they spawn in at the same time, or do they spawn in one?
No.
They spawn in one.
Yeah.
You remember the original gargoyle fight from Dark Souls 1?
Yeah.
Same damn thing. Problem is, these things are like 5 times bigger, 5 times more aggressive, and also spew aerosol poison into the arena that will damage you on contact, even when the poison meter hasn't even filled up yet.
Yeah.
Feel my fucking pain. Those are the guys that stopped me fucking dead in my fucking track. Dead in my fucking tracks the last time I was playing that.
Yeah.
How did you come to them?
I'm just stopped
Unfortunate.
dead,
How do you come to them? By being very fucking unfortunate.
Like, I was like, and because I'm mage build, I'm essentially like 2 hit kills. And it's just like, alright, how do I get around them? They're too aggressive to stay in my mist, which usually like kills most bosses I run across. So it's like, it's a war of attrition, and right now I am losing. I think it's only a handful of times I've killed one, but the other one will wind up killing me.
The worst part is, once you've killed one of them, and at least this is how it came for me, the moment you kill one of them, it actually gets fucking easier.
It does.
I imagine so. I just sort of got caught slipping.
Because here's the problem with that fight, and this is the fight that I fully came to the conclusion. I think that their handling of the air version of Poison and Crimson Rot it is the worst thing they've ever put into a Souls game. That is the fight that proved it to me. Because not only do they... What?
Which one? You still talking
the
about
gargoyle fight? Yeah, the gargoyle fight. Like, I thought it was annoying when I was fighting the Scarlet Rot Dragon. I thought it was annoying then. These motherfuckers are the ones that solidified the air version. Because here's the thing, in Elden Ring, there's 2 forms of poison and 2 forms of Scarlet Rot. There's the one that you can walk in that builds up the meter over time, but doesn't do any damage to you. And hell, doesn't even do any damage to your summons. Then there's the air version that you see enemies spew out of their mouths. That does damage on contact without even needing to fill the meter. The gargoyles are the ones to me that proved that is the worst thing they've ever put into a Souls game. Because of the fact that in that fight, not only are you trying to get close to them and then they'll do it, but it spreads so fast, and in the second phase, the area of effect for that fucking poison actually gets larger. Meaning they cut off the arena a lot more. I fucking hated that fight.
It's tough. It's tough for sure, but I mean, I got past it. We're good.
Oh,
we'll get past it eventually.
Oh, I did.
Yeah.
I did.
Guess I'm the only asshole still fighting these gargoyles. That's cool.
Wait, have you done the ones like deep down in the well, like heading to like the deep roots? That was another bitch of a fight.
Are you on about the one in the Scarlet Rot Lake?
Not the one in Scarlet Rot Lake.
No, I haven't fought a gargoyle down there.
It's during Ronnie's quest. Like you're trying to, you're going.
Yes, those are the ones I'm talking about. Yes, it's during Ronnie's quest.
Fuck them.
Yeah.
So
the gargoyles. The ones during Ronnie's quest. They're the ones I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But they're not in the Lake of Rot.
No. Which is funny because it wasn't until afterwards that I learned you don't need to fight them to do Ronnie's side quest.
You do.
You don't.
You do.
You don't.
I don't know.
Well, maybe not them. There is a specific set that you have to beat.
There is some bosses you need to fight, but the 2 gargoyles inside the Immortal City, those 2 big gargoyles, the one that has the big giant sword and then switches to the to the axe,
and then the other one has the twin blade
with the waterfall behind it. Yeah, you don't need to fight them. They're not part of Ronnie's questline. They're actual optional bosses.
but to continue her quest, there's a coffin behind them. That you
No,
have to
no,
go
no,
into.
no. Wrong one. No.
I mean, I did it, and I finished her quest that way. So I mean,
There's another
what it
way.
is.
There's another way, and the thing is, you actually need to diverge off and go. So, do you know when you first enter the Immortal City, you see actually, hold on, yeah, you know when you're beating the Mimic tier and you're going across the bridge and you see that city just on the left?
Yep.
Yeah, go through, literally go around, go down, you go into that city, and there you go. That's how you progress through Rani's quest line. That's the official way to do it.
I mean, I beat him because I summoned Dee's brother, who's sitting outside of that fight.
But the best thing is going the way that I did as well.
I
Gets
didn't have
you
anybody sitting outside of my fight.
it gets you the Mimic
He's
tier.
outside. He's outside the door. Like if you're doing Fia's quest, you can get an item to give to him that'll make him summonable for that fight.
Anyway,
plus your summons makes it super easy.
Enough of the Elden Ring talk before we turn this into an Elden Ring fucking circle jerk. Go on, Zero, what else have you been playing aside from Elden Ring?
That's it, man. Nobody Saves the World, which is still quite enjoyable. It's a fun little game. Valkyria Chronicles is nice as well. And excited. We got 4 more days until like Doctor Strange drops, so I'm looking good here.
Yeah. Alright, and Omar, what have you been up to, my guy?
Yes, up. I put Valkyrie Chronicles a little bit on hold because I was really eager to start playing Odin Sphere. And man, oh man, the music from the beginning, amazing. And then the gameplay fluid, combo heavy. I'm loving it. Story is very interesting. And not to tell that I'm just playing with the first character. There are, I think, 3 or 4 characters total that you can play with. And if I'm playing with one character and I'm having this much fun, I can't wait for the rest of the characters.
Alright, cool. As far as me, was playing some GTF. I've been playing some GTFO last week, some Dragon Age Inquisition. Didn't get onto Elden Ring last week because I've been trying to move things over from one PC to another, and unfortunately, I've reached this fucking roadblock where it's like, I feel like I definitely now need to upgrade my GPU because my GPU, though it is a 2080 Ventus, though it has 8GB of RAM, it is seemingly having this issue of over fucking heating to an F degree while I'm playing games like Call of Duty Cold War. Like, it sounds like it wants to take off into aviation. I put a fucking curve on it. I put a fan curve on it so it will actually pick up speed to try and cool itself. I have 4 fucking fans trying to cool off that PC. But this goddamn GPU just seems to just not take the hint that I want it to cool down. And it's really fucking stressing me out and annoying me. But other than that...
Throw a water block on it.
I would if I had one. I'd need to buy one. And then that's a whole lot of other money. And plus, I don't know, honestly...
Keep it in a new GPU.
But that's the thing, I also don't know how to actually install a water block onto a GPU. That's one problem I do have. Like, I need to learn how to do it. And here's the thing, I'd rather buy a brand new GPU that does have a water block than spend the money to get a water block for my GPU and then fuck it all up. And then I'm out a GPU and I've got a fucking useless water cooling block for a GPU that I no longer have. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Do you know what I am saying? Aside from that, I was playing some Guardians of the Galaxy, still loving it. Also, fuck YouTube's bullshit fucking copyright system. They, for some reason, a song from that game got me copyright claimed. I don't care about the copyright claim. I care that they blocked it in the United fucking States.
Wait,
all fucking places.
Is it not, if I'm correct, I played the game, I finished the game, I love the game, there is something called content friendly.
I don't care. No, I'm sorry. No, I don't know. Like, in my opinion, if you do that, you're effectively, like, taking away most of the experience, and a lot of that experience is the music. Like, the music goes with it. There's nothing like getting the huddle going.
Yeah, the music is amazing.
There's nothing like doing a huddle and then coming out the huddle after successfully doing it and hearing Europe's the final countdown. Or Rick Astley's Never Gonna Give You Up. There's nothing better than that. You take away the soul of this game if you fucking do that. Which is why I didn't. But I counterclaimed it on the basis of fair use. Hopefully I win that. But aside from that, played some zombies today. So, and I'm tired, but soldier on for the good of the VGP. As far as like the good of things, gentlemen, apparently WB wants to sell again. So, according to this article, Warner Brothers Interactive Game Studios could be for sale. Xbox and PlayStation reportedly interested. Warner Brothers Interactive Studio. Okay, so let's just read on. Early in April, a merger between Discovery and Warner Media officially closed, becoming Warner Brothers Discovery. Warner Brothers Interactive Game Studios have largely been left alone through the merger period, only selling Playdemic to EA in June of 2021. Now that the merger is finalized and Warner Brothers Discovery is restructuring, plans for Warner Brothers Interactive Studios appear to have changed. A report claims that Warner Brothers Discovery is already shopping for studios of interested parties, which include PlayStation and Xbox. The report comes by Fanbyte Media's Imran Khan, who says that he's hearing a decent bit of chatter regarding WB Discovery's new plans. Khan explains that WB Discovery is shopping for game studios around the list studios of Warner Brothers Interactive. Sorry, I'm gonna fucking Zero just read this shit. He's
I mean, you want me to read it? Shit, I'll read it.
Go ahead.
All right. The list of studios at Warner Brothers Interactive currently includes Hogwarts Legacy Studio, Avalanche Software, Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor dev, Monolith Productions, Mortal Kombat creator, NetherRealm Studios, Batman Arkham and Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League Studio, Rocksteady Studios, as well as TT Games and WB Studios in Montreal, Boston, New York, San Diego, and San Francisco. One detail that Khan draws attention to is that WB Discovery is specifically considering selling its game studios and not its IP. In other words, WB Discovery wants to sell Rocksteady and license out Batman and Suicide Squad properties, sell Avalanche and license Harry Potter, and potentially sell NetherRealm while retaining licensing for Mortal Kombat. That's kind of...
I'll get onto that in a second, because there is a point to be made about at least 2 or 3 of those, which is... which I'll get into in a second. So please continue.
It should come as no surprise that a list of parties is already interested in potentially acquiring one of WB Discovery's game studios, a list that Khan has also shared online. Both Microsoft and Sony are on the list, unsurprisingly. They're both aggressively acquiring studios for Xbox and PlayStation, respectively. Other interested parties include Electronic Arts, NetEase, Take-Two, Tencent, and even PUBG Corp. Needless to say, if Warner Brothers Discovery does sell its studios, that it can expect some aggressive bids. What remains to be seen is just how willing Warner Brothers Discovery will be to break up its studios into pieces. They could likely sell the entire umbrella of Warner Brothers Interactive with all of its studios if it wanted to, or it could sell its studios piecemeal, one going to PlayStation, one going to Xbox, and so on. But also deem to keep certain studios. One thing worth making clear is that Khan leaves some uncertainty in his reporting on WB Discovery's game studios. He's confident enough to share what he's heard on Twitter, but says he couldn't get the kind of confirmation he'd want for a full post. Khan wouldn't be sharing it at all unless he was confident to a reasonable degree, however. Expect more reporting on the subject of Warner Brothers Discovery studio sales going forward.
Okay, so here's the thing. As far as their properties, reading that, let's just be straight out and say, if we're talking about aggressive bidding, none of them are going to outbid Microsoft, if Microsoft truly wants it. If Microsoft wants it, none of them are outbidding Microsoft with that fucking money they've got.
This is very true.
The problem is, and the reason why I don't believe that Microsoft would be the reason why I feel like Microsoft would pull out is because of that very, very specific line of Warner Brothers would keep the IPs.
Yes, I agree.
So you think PlayStation would be interested?
They'd be interested in just the studios. I don't think Sony is particularly interested. Like they're definitely interested in the studios, but if they can get like NetherRealm Studios, there's nothing stopping them from telling NetherRealm Studios, "Hey, come up with a brand new idea for a fighting game. Like we want a fighting game for our platform. Now that we also own Evo."
That's smart. NetherRealm is the studio that I thought about. I would have thought Rocksteady, but I already got Insomniac.
No. It's good to have another studio who can do it. I would trust. I would trust Rocksteady with Marvel products. They've already shown that they can do really well with DC products.
And also that Harry Potter studio is very interesting.
Now, going on to what I was about to say about the IPs. Two of those IPs make sense to me. Harry Potter and what was the other one? The
Batman makes sense.
Yeah, the DC
Batman also
stuff
makes sense. Yeah,
both
the
of
DC
them
stuff,
make sense.
license that shit.
Yeah, because DC Comics, Detective Comics, which again that name makes no fucking sense. They were an intellectual property before they were video games, so they'd license them out anyway. The only reason that obviously it's because they own Warner Brothers, who owns Detective Comics, own Rocksteady, so they don't need to license it out to a studio they already own. With something like the DC Comics, and also like Harry Potter, which they own, I believe, the merchandising rights to, which was obviously a franchise before it was a video game, they already own the IP wholesale. Like, it was a property before it was a video game. Mortal Kombat is the one that surprises me. Because, let's be fair, that series has been more successful as a video game franchise than it has been a fucking movie franchise. As much as I love the first movie, as much as I dog on the fucking recent one...
Wait. You're breaking up.
What?
Your audio was...
Your voice is overpowering the mic, and it's kind of...
Oh, okay. As much as, like, it's been a more successful franchise as a video game than it has been for a movie. So yeah. I don't understand why they would want to keep a hold of that, but it's their IP. They own the IPs. But stuff like DC Comics and that makes sense to me. Now, what do I could see a substantial dollar figure going towards these, because these are very, very talented studios. Like, let's not take anything away from these studios. This is Monolith Studios. This is NetherRealm. Rocksteady. Sorry. These are very talented studios. So, like, you look at them and you're like, okay, these companies, EA, Microsoft, Sony, like, they're gonna put a substantial dollar figure to it. But I'm curious how high are they willing to go before they pull out? Considering as valuable as the studios are, the IPs that they are associated with are in my opinion, almost more valuable than the studios themselves.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, I could see Microsoft bidding high, but I could also see them dropping out because they don't get the IPs. They just get the studios. Not saying they couldn't do anything with it, but Microsoft would want to own... They've shown it. Microsoft would want to own the whole fucking pie. They don't want to own 3/4 of the pie. They want that whole fucking pie, the greedy bastards. Sony, I could see staying in the bidding as high as they comfortably could. Because they would want the studios and they could just give them their own properties. Like I said, Rocksteady they could quite easily, in my opinion, give Rocksteady a Marvel product, and I think Rocksteady would do well with that because they've already done well with the Batman games, and hopefully Suicide Squad. Monolith, they've proven themselves to be very, very good first-person shooter developers as well. They could have them come up with a new first-person shooter or a good adventure game like a Shadow of Middle-earth. NetherRealm could make a new fighting game. Fuck, they could make a Marvel fighting game.
They could.
Like,
They can make
they've
a
got-
Flash game.
Obviously they got Capcom, Marvel versus Capcom, but like Sony could probably pull some strings and say, we want to do a fighting game with the Marvel characters, mutants, and etc. And we'll put NetherRealm on it, and NetherRealm could do that, and that's the flagship franchise, the fighting franchise that for Sony, it's something that they own, and it's something they could fucking promote the shit out of at EVO. Now, as far as EA, good God, anywhere but fucking EA. Anywhere but EA.
Yeah.
Anywhere but... though I say that, but I'd rather them go to EA than go to fucking Tencent. I'd rather that. Or,
EA would shut them down. Come on, we know that. Look what they did with the studio behind Motorstorm.
Like, are you talking about EA of like 10 years ago, or are you talking about like EA currently? Because EA currently is operating much differently.
No.
I'm sorry, you say that, but BioWare Montreal would like to say hello.
Less than a year ago, they shut a studio down.
That they recently purchased?
Is the one with the what's called the one
Was
with
it
the
a
rating
recently
system.
purchased studio? I mean, studios get shut down all the time. Sony shut down Studio Japan. But was it a recently purchased studio?
We can have a look.
I don't know when they purchased them, but they, if I remember correctly, it was recently purchased. Let
But
me.
you don't remember the name of the studio, but it was recently purchased.
Right, okay.
I-
Well,
I
Pharaoh,
do
do you
remember
want to...
because we covered it here on show. Go ahead, Dante.
Okay, you know what? Jube, you give us your thoughts. You're the one who's being the most quiet and solemn about... You're actually being respectable.
I was just gonna say, even if what they could do, they could still sell the IPs, but the caveat to that purchase would be that they still receive residual royalties from it.
Right, yeah.
That way they don't have to sit there and license it out. I could see that if the check is big enough. I could definitely see that happening. That way it's kind of a win-win. Like, you know, you now don't have to worry about studios and upkeep, and you're just getting free money because the shit exists. You know what I'm
Or
saying?
you can like,
Go ahead, Phil.
I was gonna say, or you could like split the IP. Like, you know, we had you maintain movie rights. We have video games.
Yeah, they could.
Yeah, I mean,
do
there's
that
a
as
lot
well.
of different ways to skin that cat.
Yeah.
I mean that's also another way to do, like, you know, licensed tie-ins for movies and shit if that
Yeah.
starts becoming a thing again.
But it also comes down to how staunchly Warner Brothers Discovery, how tight-fisted they are about this, though. Like, is this going to come down to a case of, like, enough money will grease the palms, or is no money going to move them?
Right. I mean, I could just see Xbox absolutely just copping NetherRealm, just so they have a studio that can work on Killer Instinct and also launch new fighting IP.
But they got Double
Even if
Helix.
they're like, hey,
Go buy
they
Double
don't-
Helix!
they don't-
I remember Phil Spencer wanting to make a new Killer Instinct, but he didn't have a studio for it.
Double
So, yeah, I
Helix
can
did
see
the
that.
last one, and it was fantastic.
but no, Double Helix helped. I mean, they jumped on it with Iron Galaxy. Like, it's not like Double Helix did all the work. Feel me? Iron Galaxy did a lot of that work. Double Helix kind of maintained it and added some DLC to it, but the backbone of that game was built by Iron Galaxy, who's definitely owned by Amazon now.
Completely wrong, actually. Iron Galaxy only did season 2 and 3.
Ah, okay, so it's
Double Helix made the game and season 1.
Oh, okay, that's okay. Yeah, in that part.
And you
but
are
still,
this man
why aren't they?
for the VG.
Then why
This man
why aren't they going back to Double Helix for it? Sorry, I got those two confused. It's very simple.
It's simple. He says,
how do you switch devs between seasons? Like, that's dumb. I never
I have no idea because no, that actually goes. Oh no, that's why. No, wow, I feel like a dick because I only just learned this now. Because Double Helix no longer fucking exists.
That too.
They went defunct in 2014. That's why Iron Galaxy took over. And they got merged into Amazon Game Studios.
Exactly, and Iron Galaxy is owned by Amazon, right? So it's like, the fuck do you do?
No, that's Double Helix. Double Helix is owned by them. What is now Double Helix is owned by them, but Iron Galaxy is still a private company.
Okay, maybe they just don't want it to be, private. Like I'd honestly
all in house.
I'd want NetherRealm to do it if I was going to trust somebody to do it.
True, but I gotta turn around and say I gotta give them the caveat of make it like the 2013 version because that shit was fire. You want to talk about a game that kind of got like the fucking shaft because it was bought out on during Xbox One's Suicide Watch phase. Like that game had got released like just a couple of fucking years later. That game would have blown up in my opinion. Anyway, sorry, you go on. You were continuing. Sorry.
Yeah, I if this does come to pass, I really just hope they buy NetherRealm at a minimum. You know what I'm saying? That I strategically, it's like you'll damn near have a studio for everything except for hero games and Japanese RPGs. I mean, even though Tango technically exists, but are they going to make an RPG? I don't know. But they would have, they'd have a racing studio, they'd have a fighting game studio at that point, a shooter studio, all the shit from Activision. So they'll have an MMO studio, like a MOBA studio. Like they'll have pretty much, every genre with a studio pertaining to said genre, which
world fucking domination.
Yeah, pretty fucking much. Like there'd be something in Game Pass for everybody. You feel me?
Yeah.
But yeah. We kind of just need to see what's going to come about with that, and then also with Microsoft's other big purchase. Like, are they really going to be players in this? Like, is that going to fuck up that deal at all? Like, that's another thing.
I would say no.
To worry about.
And the reason I would say no is because they're not purchasing the whole corporation. It doesn't have to pass.
Oh, I got you.
FTC and all that.
It's not like the other purchase that just happened, where it's okay. I got you.
You're not purchasing a whole publisher. You're just purchasing.
You're purchasing an asset. You're purchasing an asset.
Yeah, so it'll be a little bit different.
I guess that makes sense. Like there isn't like an FTC thing for like IP. Like. It's something if you own it, you can.
No, but you are. But they're not. But obviously, if they're just buying the studios,
right?
Like even though you're only buying assets, you still are buying the competition. Especially if that competition is seemingly wanting to move out of the video game space themselves. Because I mean, with this, it seems like Warner Brothers Discovery is like, we don't mind being involved in the video games industry, but we want to keep it at a very, very long arm's reach. From now on, it seems. Farrell, what are your thoughts? Sorry, go on.
I just don't think the government would be involved in a studio purchase like that. Just because it's more so, hey, this is independently owned.
It's more nuanced, and the only reason that they're involved in this one is because of all the people messaging their congressmen.
Who don't really give a fuck, and they're just trying to get some brownie
I don't know. I think the Elon Musk thing didn't help. Now everybody's calling for a crackdown on big business because Elon Musk decided to throw his $44 million dick on the table and say, "I'm buying Twitter."
The U.S. does not care about video game industry. Like, and it's we can go back and go with the whole Activision thing with this whole rape scandal and being sued by the state of California, and how it's just been completely swept under the rug by.
It should be getting talked about every single day.
It was like that's what I'm saying. Like this merger, this acquisition was not made a topic until like literally people went to Twitter and was asking their congressman to stop the transaction from taking place.
I don't know about
Before then.
What I would say.
Okay, hold on.
I agree with you. The U.S. government doesn't necessarily care about the video game industry, but they've always been keeping a watchful eye on what Microsoft is doing, and historically has been like jumping into their business for decades now. This isn't anything new. Granted,
they jump into their business because they have to, but Microsoft has gotten away with a lot of bullshit with the government. Like absolutely.
Yeah, I never thought
haven't.
that this deal wasn't going to go through because like they've been getting away with it for decades already.
Them lawyers is good
because they understand to buy what the government doesn't care about at that time.
Yep.
And then when the government cares about it, it's like, all right, it's too late. We already got them.
Yep.
So, but I think, I know people keep bringing up NetherRealm, but I don't know if you guys remember, what was it, back right before the Bethesda purchase took place, and they were looking at purchasing, WB. Yeah, when they were first thinking about it, the thing that was
for that.
No, it wasn't a rumor. It wasn't a rumor at all. Phil Spencer came out and specifically said that he is looking at buying WB. He said it right before the Bethesda purchase, but the deal fell through. But the thing that was most attractive to them at the time wasn't making a Killer Instinct. They wanted the kids' games. They wanted the Lego stuff.
Oh shit!
And
I wasn't even thinking about that. I wasn't even thinking about that.
They want the kids stuff for their Game Pass catalog. That's what they want.
Of course.
See, we think about ourselves and the games that we play. So we think about Batman and the NetherRealm and Mortal Kombat, but they think about how do we get kids locked into our service and get them to grow up into those games. So I think in this instance, I think if they really want to sell, I think WB is going to have to be reasonable and understand that some IPs are going to have to go. Like, you can keep your Batmans and your Harry Potters, but you're gonna have to be willing to let go of maybe a Mortal Kombat, or you're going to be willing to give up the Lego series. Like there's gonna have to be some give and take with this negotiation if you're serious about selling these properties.
So you're saying that not one company gonna buy everything, it's gonna be separated to multiple companies? That's what are you saying?
They'll make more money if they do it that way.
It would make sense.
We all know how people love money,
What WB likes money. Well, they also love pissing money away because they still haven't got their heads out of their asses about the goddamn fucking DC movies.
It depends on because they might make more money selling it all to one person, because the offer may be like, hey, if you sell it all to us, we'll give you this, and then
it depends on the offer that's put on the table.
Yeah. I told you, all they have to do is offer a big ass check in royalties, bro. Like, I think that gets it done.
All right, well, Zero, what are your thoughts on this?
They also need to offer.
What are your thoughts on this, Zero? And tell me, why ain't Nintendo's name being bought up?
I don't know. Nintendo has no interest because the Lego games are gonna always show up on the Nintendo system. Like they are perfectly fine. Besides, as big as Harry Potter and like I can only think of like the IP. DC, yes, everything else pales in comparison to Pokemon. Harry Potter ain't as big, Lego ain't as big. So like
Total different
they're
IP
fine.
though. Question:
But they're both aimed at children.
Is there any one of the games on Nintendo, like the Batman game?
The Lego games are on Nintendo.
And the Batman games.
The Batman game is not.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Sorry, it is or it's not?
It is.
Oh, it is.
is.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah, the Arkham games came to the Switch.
Yeah.
Nintendo
doesn't
let me look.
typically buy much of anything. So like I wouldn't they're rarely, if ever, in the acquisition conversation.
There's Origin. Hold on, there was the Armored Edition of because the Wii U got the Batman Origins Armored Edition, I believe.
Yeah, Nintendo has literally zero incentive to acquire anything.
Yeah,
It's like, why? We make it ourselves. Or
Yeah,
port
we
it.
make it ourselves.
we make it ourselves, and we sell our games to 60% of our customers without fail.
Yeah.
Without fail.
And while the catalog would be nice, of WB's catalog, I don't see anything specifically that would like if somehow Nintendo did get like exclusive rights to the Lego games, that would be absolutely insane. But I doubt they're really willing to try to spend that much money on top of like Sony and PlayStation and Take-Two and Rockstar and everybody else is still here. So like you still got to come, you got to be the sweetest deal with all these other folks, and the big guy on the table here is Microsoft is saying like, be easy, we will walk away because it doesn't work for us, but like don't push us, because if it just comes down to who's putting more paper on the table, we already got this as a W. So I mean, I don't know. I was looking up Warner Brothers Discovery. Frankly, I was shocked at how much stuff Warner Brothers actually owns.
You really? That shocked you?
A little bit. It's a little sickening. Unfortunately, like.
I mean, you know everything in the world's owned by like a handful of companies, dude.
Yeah, like
everything.
It's like conceptually you understand, and then seeing it's like, wow, man, like I didn't like they have all of Cartoon Network.
Yep.
Didn't realize that, but now it makes sense considering all of Cartoon Network is on HBO Max.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, oh, okay, or they own Cinemax, which like at least in my head, I just remember growing up like, aren't Cinemax and HBO rival companies?
Wait, Skinemax?
Yeah.
Yes.
So I don't know if like they ever were, and it's just like a Coke versus Pepsi thing, or like they just, and obviously the truth of the matter is they just played us, right? They just played us against each other.
Yeah, a lot of companies now they create their own competition to dominate the market.
So at least looking at the stuff that they own, it doesn't seem like Rooster Teeth seems to be the last like gaming thing that they have with this new Discovery sort of fusion that they've become. So it looks like they're just like, yeah, guys.
Yeah, but the thing is Rooster Teeth is really trying to branch out into doing other things. Like Rooster Teeth kind of lost their identity, like as a gaming-centric thing years ago.
Agreed. So if that's the closest thing that they have, then it seems like, guys, we're sort of out of the video game making industry. We just don't particularly want to do it anymore. But we have all of these absolutely wonderful IPs and studios that's been making them. You can go have them. At first, I thought it was a little weird, and the more you guys talked, I guess I understood it better. Because my first thought is like, what's just to stop them from just shutting down the studios? And I was like, well, you don't get any money out of that if you just let everybody go. I was like, okay, that makes sense. You keep the studio. I mean, let other people buy the studios, keep the IP. They can purchase the IP and use it. I guess that's what Disney does, right? Like, you want a Disney product? We'll license it to you. Here's how much it's going to cost.
But even now, Disney's kind of gone back on that.
I mean, I guess once you get that person that makes you like the hit, I guess you sort of stick with them for a little.
Well, no, because you got to remember, like they literally resurrected Lucas Games.
That is true.
Well, then another thing with this,
and they're bringing back Monkey Island. They're bringing back Monkey Island. Sorry,
I was gonna say the risky thing with this IP thing and negotiations is that whether you're selling whoever purchases them. Like, if you purchase them and you don't get the IPs, and then they license their IPs out to several different studios, it's like, damn, what am I going to do now? So, like, it kind of...
And I think that's the truth of the matter, what's going to happen. And then for Warner, all it presents is like, it's not on me. It's, hey, whoever makes the best game, whatever, I don't particularly care anymore. Like, if I think about, like, how Marvel is existing on various places, I'm like, yeah, so I don't expect Nintendo to make the next Marvel Spider-Man, but like they can have Ultimate Alliance 3, and like if you like.
But the issue is The issue is that when you come to purchase in these negotiations, is no one wants to be that sucker that purchases all these studios just for you to license out the IPs to everyone, and then you can't, you kind of lose that edge of purchasing them.
I think it all depends on what your competition is going to do, though. Like, I think it's fair to say Sony's got a pretty lock on Spider-Man. He can show up everywhere else he wants to, but like Spider-Man, like you want to play the top tier Spider-Man, you want to go to Sony. He's I don't think he's shown up in Avengers. That ain't moved the needle for that game at all. So like everybody knows, yeah, Spider-Man's here. So I think studios who feel capable enough to do it would be like, no, Doug, we can make the best of this game. It doesn't really matter what anybody else is gonna do. Because like, particularly because there are already people who've made the game. So if you figure out how to like maybe get the team from Rockstar who were doing the Batman games to come to your side, you already got the guys who are making them. Just like do it again. So it's interesting. What I'm curious about, Big, is what about the Nemesis system?
That's still
Monolith
that's owned by Warner Brothers.
Yeah, Monolith is still making this Wonder Woman game, hopefully, which is supposed to be using a sort of revamped Nemesis system. So is the system also up for licensing now?
Good point.
Whereas like anybody wants to use it, you just gotta pay us? And that would seem pretty. Has that been done before? I mean, I'm sure it has, but like, has that been done before?
Yeah, I mean that's what like Unreal Engine and that is. Like,
I guess you're right. I guess that's what Unreal is. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean all these engines, Frostbite, Unreal, the Decima engine, like all of these engines, like they're licensed out.
Wait, Decima engine is licensed?
Yes.
To whom?
Well, it was licensed to Kojima.
Well, Kojima used it. I mean, he's definitely not part of Guerrilla Games.
And like he did modify it as well. Like it's what?
No, to Kojima it was not licensed. It was literally given.
But it was
for free.
But it's still a licensing thing. Whether it's
he doesn't
or
own
not,
the tech.
he doesn't own the tech.
Gotcha.
Yeah, which I guess would be interesting because the only other people that make it were people who they had. So yeah, I mean, I guess it's smart on Warner. They don't seem to be wanting to be in the market anymore. Sell off the studios and like keep the IP, which makes sense. I would never give up Batman as an IP, ever.
Well, they can't technically. I mean, God, they get rid of Batman as the IP. That's all the comics and shit done as well. Like that right there, like just Batman himself as like an IP and intellectual property, and all pretenses here within is probably like a solid good $2 billion, or more, in fact.
I would think
that they would just do the video game portion of it.
I know. I'm just saying, like the character himself. And all pretenses here within that character, given like movies, video games, comics, like that's a good double-digit $1 billion in my opinion.
I want to say one thing. We are all talking about who might get what and so on. No one has said why are they selling.
Yes, we have.
They're not interested in making games anymore. Like it's they deemed it profitable, but it's just like we don't care for it anymore. We don't want to be in that business anymore. It's as simple as that.
Or maybe the industry is changing. Like something is happening back in the background, and companies.
This has been all right. So basically, what happened is that. WB and Discovery merged. So once you got, new execs in there, you got different ideas of how they want to run their company. Yeah, that's all it is. It's not the game industry's change. It's that you have new faces at the top because there was a company merger and they don't really see gaming as part of their company's future.
I can give you a good I can give you another example. Hold on. I can give you an example of changing culture within a company during a merger. Back during the Time Warner AOL merger, like years and years and years ago. Ted Turner was the head honcho, and he was the only reason WCW back in the day was even on TNT. Like, he was the only reason they were on the Turner Network television. But as soon as the merger happened and he lost a lot of the power he had, and new execs came in with different ideas, WCW got nixed off of TV completely and sold off because they just didn't want wrestling no more. New execs didn't want it. That's seemingly
it's just what happens when new
now.
people come into power. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. Like, it certainly could be like something, but I think, you know, in this kind of case, the simplest answer is probably the most correct, and like they just don't. And I think it's telling that like they're keeping the IP, so like they still want the money from it. They just don't want to like make them.
It's
they don't wanna be
not
responsible. For
okay.
it.
No. Okay, what you need to remember is this. What you need to remember is this, and this is the reason why I brought up specifically the Harry Potter and the comic, the other one. When you sell an IP, you sell the entirety of it. Effectively,
I don't think that has to be true anymore.
It actually does. And
I really don't think that has to be true anymore because
I mean, you look at Disney and Sony.
Yeah, Disney and Marvel.
Yeah,
like,
but then
prove that.
Okay, first of all, here's the thing. That was a long time ago, and Sony still owned the movie rights. Like, they don't own the comic rights; they just own the movie rights. Okay, This was done years and years ago. Like, this was done back in the day when Marvel, when comic book movies were struggling. Like, when Marvel Comics themselves were struggling. Like, back in the early 2000s. Like, they were struggling. Like, these were desperate times. Right now, these are not desperate times. If they want to keep the IPs all to themselves, this is what, in my opinion, this is what Warner Brothers wants, because they want the merchandising, they want the movie rights, they want all pretense of the IP, they want all of it. And the reason why I'm bringing all this up is because someone like Microsoft, as far as like Mortal Kombat, they would want to own the whole IP. They don't want to be sharing the profits with nobody. They want the IP. They want full control. They don't want to be beholden to another company.
Which is true, but what Microsoft doesn't want is anything else that comes with Harry Potter. You know, they don't want to make Harry Potter movies. They don't want to do Harry Potter merchandise. They just want.
But that's what I'm saying is but that's what I'm saying. Warner Brothers isn't going to sell it because they can't sell the whole thing, and they don't want to sell the whole thing. Am I making sense here? Like, if someone wanted to buy from Warner Brothers the Mortal Kombat IP, in my opinion, how Warner Brothers would see it is they'd want to sell the entirety of it, movie rights and everything. They'd want to sell the whole thing. They wouldn't want to piecemeal it. They'd want to license it instead.
And let me pull back. Selling I used the wrong word because they're not selling their IP anyway.
Yeah.
They said they weren't doing that. They're licensing everything out.
Yeah, and licensing makes more sense, which is why
that's the effective way to do it.
Yeah, it is the effective way to do it. It's the way they do it because again, they want full control of the IP themselves. Which is why I turned around and said that if it comes down to it, I feel like Microsoft they'll have a certain amount they're willing to buy the studios for, but if the IPs are not involved, they'll pull out. Like they'll have
these studios aren't worth that much without the IPs. I'm not saying that they're not talented, but I'm saying you can poach the talent.
Like that was why my first thought was like, I'm surprised they didn't just shut them down, but you get money by selling off the studio.
Yeah, like we're looking. In my opinion, we're looking at least for these studios, talent, equipment. Because here's the thing: when you buy the studio, you're buying the building. If the building is owned by the studio, you're buying all the equipment here. You're basically buying all liquidable assets within the studio as well. If I'm using that terminology correctly,
it would.
Go on.
It'd have to be around the same deal that Crystal Dynamics and all that just sold for.
Maybe I don't.
It'd have to be in that range.
Yeah,
without the IPs.
I'd say probably 3 figures in the millions, maybe less.
Like NetherRealm would probably go for a good amount.
I mean,
but even still, it would only be hundreds of millions.
Yeah, we're not talking billions. Yeah. The only time we should bring in the B is if someone's buying all of the studios.
Yeah, outright. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, this is $1 billion.
I mean, even if you are buying all the studios, but you're not getting any intellectual properties, it's not that.
No, it is. It is because, again, what you need to remember, dude, is the buying. I think there was 8 studios in total. Like, I think 8 or 9 studios in total. Which is why I said that if we're talking like buying them out.
That's why I brought up the Square deal, because Square they sold intellectual property and studios, and it's only $300 million.
Yeah, and what I'm saying is if you're buying all of those, including all asset, and when I mean assets, I mean like the computers and literally the equipment and stuff that these developers use. If you're buying the buildings and shit like that, we're probably looking. If we're buying the developers brick, mortar, and equipment all, as well as personnel, we're probably talking at least a low billion if someone was to buy all of them, in my opinion.
Maybe.
But individually, I would say we're probably looking at like low triple-digit millions for individuals. Some more so than less.
So I hope the studios sort of find a good spot. As everything, part of it doesn't necessarily feel. Actually, feels like an opposite of consolidation if like multiple people buy various studios. So
because nobody in those studios has even proven that they're capable of creating a new IP.
And they might not. Harry Potter might be attractive enough that they're like, I want the guy who made Harry Potter, and I want them to do.
Yeah, if you have a game already in mind for them to make, it makes sense.
Monolith was
or Monolith, whoever wants this Wonder Woman game now.
Give me a second, because that's no offense. I take great umbrage with that assertion that because Warner Brothers games. I'm just trying to figure out like what they. Oh shit! Yeah, they own Turtle Rock. I completely fucking forgot about that. But yeah, like the studios that they own, like Avalanche Games, they can make good games. They can make original games. Monolith could make original games. I would say NetherRealms could definitely make an original game. The problem is that
I'm not saying that they can't. I'm saying there's not a track record.
Well, the problem is with NetherRealm Games is they were set up specifically to carry on Mortal Kombat because they were built from the guys who made the Mortal Kombat series at Midway. Like that. So
I'm not knocking them, but I'm saying, when we're negotiating and we're talking about prices and things like that, these are the things that come into conversation. Like, you want me to buy these studios? I don't even know if they can make a brand new IP. I've never seen it. Like those are the type of things that you would say in a negotiation. Like, to try to drive the price down and not get the number that they want. Like, these are the type of things that would just come across in conversation.
I don't know. I mean, Rocksteady did make the very, very, very underrated Urban Chaos Riot response.
And if that game was not top 10 in sales for any month or period of time, all them companies that are in the purchasing talks would tuck that shit down. Like, no.
You're forgetting TT is Traveler's Tales, Jesus.
What about top 10 in our hearts? That's got to count for something.
No.
That would assume that Pharaoh has a heart. Alright, well, I think we need to move on to the next subject. We should be a short one, unless someone decides to try and argue with me facts. So Psychonauts 2, Double Fine. Congratulations! It is now officially their highest selling game and their highest rated game that they have ever bought out. Now, not okay. So I will give them this because everybody knows I am everything and I am fair. Getting it being that highest rated game is quite an achievement. Like, they have put out some stellar games. The problem with the problem with Double Fine and it being their highest selling game is that was an extremely low bar to raise. Like that was an extremely low bar to get over because
How much did it sell?
1.7 million, I think.
They didn't release an official figure, but we do know that their highest selling game was, I think, the original Psychonauts at 1.7 million. So
Bomber Director tweets hints at sales at least 1.7 million. So I mean, if we were to take that at face value, then they've sold probably just under 2 million copies.
Yeah.
Now, the reason why I say that is a low bar for them to cross is because, and these are facts, though they have had even though they've had critical success, Double Fine has never really had commercial success. A lot of their games have been cult classics or games that did well after the fact in bargain bins.
Like Psychonauts himself, first one.
The first Psychonauts is an example. Brutal Legend is an example.
Brutal Legend, I was literally about to name that, yeah.
And then you got other games like Cave Story as well. Like they do good games. I will never as some of the bullshit, some of the shit I will throw at Tim Schafer, and a lot of it is justified. They make good games. They make fun games, but they just never sold well. And now they seemingly have finally found success, and it was on one console. It was unexclusive. No. They didn't need multiplat to do it.
No,
they found okay, it was multiplat. No, my apologies. It is multiplat.
It is multiplat.
But they finally found success after being purchased.
Psychonaut 2 is multiplat and it's on
I was joking. I was fucking with Jenny. I was fucking with you because I kind of figured you would just somehow find a way to just downplay all of this. But yes, no, it seems like them getting purchased and the bump that they got from that definitely seems to have helped them because as much as people were looking forward to Psychonauts 2, like, in my opinion, Psychonauts 2, if it had come out the way that it did, wouldn't have sold as well as it did before. It was the bump that Microsoft now owns them is what took them over the top as far as sales.
Yep.
And I'm happy for him. I'm happy Tim Schafer finally has some fucking success in his life after a lot of broken promises and a lot of failures. I'm so happy for him. Juve, what do you think?
I think it's dope. Like, I do enjoy quite a few Double Fine games. I really enjoyed Brutal Legend.
So did I.
But I know it probably didn't sell what they wanted it to.
Nope.
Even though it reviewed well, like, people that played it absolutely loved it.
The problem is with Brutal Legend and a lot of Double Fine's problems, and this is what I said when Microsoft bought Double Fine. They are very expensive. Like, all of their games came with a very heavy price tag due to delays as well as over expenditures due to Tim Schafer. Which hopefully they get it in line. But go on, sorry.
I mean, Psychonauts 2 should be an indicator of that, because we didn't really, after they were bought, it was just pretty much like,
smooth sailing.
The game came out. Mm-hmm. So I think since Tim has somebody over his head, even though they're hands off,
the dagger over his head.
Somebody, yeah, what I'm saying, that part can get reined in. But then again,
that accountant not hands off.
Yeah, but then again, they also have pretty much whatever budget they feel like, apparently. So
Yeah, he doesn't need to beg.
No budget is unlimited.
He doesn't need to beg on GoFundMe anymore. Or Indiegogo,
Yeah,
sorry.
I was saying there's no such thing as an unlimited budget, even at Microsoft.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm sorry. You say there's no such thing as a limited budget, but somehow Star Citizen keeps getting money.
Oh, your mic just
sorry.
up there, buddy.
Yeah, sorry about my apologies. But yeah, no, you keep turning around and saying that like there's no such thing as unlimited money, yet somehow Star Citizen keeps getting fucking money.
That's called hope.
The crazy part is this game is still in what's called
Alpha.
in a beta, alpha, beta, whatever you call it.
A pure code.
What's in the beta? Oh, Star Citizen.
Star Citizen is still in a fucking.
Yeah, it's a game. It's a game that sells hope. The idea.
It does. The game, like that game, don't fucking exist, bro. You're right. It's selling hope. How much money have they poured into this? And you have, like, where's the beef? You know what I'm saying? Like, what are we paying for here?
Hold on.
Like it's coming, and I promise you, just gonna be solid.
Give me a second.
All right, this joint gonna be solid.
You are paying. You're paying for trust me, bro.
Hey,
like
you wanted to know. The current budget is $454,913,570.
So clearly that means whenever it comes out, it's gonna be amazing.
Somehow it has over 3 million. Somehow it has 3 million people playing as well.
So yeah, they definitely the initiative definitely lied. Star Citizen is the first quadruple A video game.
Fucking clever.
For what it's worth, it's the first. Cause ain't no budget bigger than that.
Nope. What was the most expensive video game? While I get Zero's opinion on this, I'm just gonna look at what the most expensive video game is.
Yeah, I'll be brief with it. Like, good for them. I know a lot of people like Psychonauts. You know, I won't give Dante sort of backhanded compliment. Just, you know,
I'm sorry
good job.
if it's fucking true.
I'm just saying. Good job, guys. Like, I hope they. What's next for them? Does anybody have a sense of what's next for them?
They're probably going to release some sort of update for Psychonauts 2 before they start working on the next IP. Would be my guess.
So I look forward to seeing what they do next.
That's the one thing about Xbox right now is once you release your game, you're just gonna go hide in the basement for a while because there's so many other studios that have to release games too.
So you can just sort of walk away.
Yeah, just go in the basement and figure out what you're gonna do next.
That's surprising.
Destiny 2?
No, Destiny 2 ain't even sniffing the fucking top 10 by the looks of it. You gotta remember, a lot of Destiny 2's budget came with the fucking marketing.
I say maybe Destiny 1.
But no, development costs, as far as like millions, top one is Star Citizen with $339+ million. Number 2 is Cyberpunk 2077 with $174 million.
That would make sense.
Here's the thing. In third place is Battlefield 4 with $100 million. Just below that, with 75 to 100 million, is Shadow of the Tomb Raider. Below that, at 68 million plus, is Watch Dogs. Below that, at 60 million, is Dead Space 2. Below that, at 60 million, is Gran Turismo 5. Below that, at 50 plus million, is Rift. Below that, at 48 to 60 million, is Gears of War 3. Below that is Shenmue with 47 million. Like, dude, Destiny.
Where is Uncharted in that? If Tomb Raider is that much?
No, not even fucking here.
I don't think it's Uncharted.
Yeah, Uncharted wasn't that big of a game to make.
Like, it doesn't even fucking
sniff. Damn! How is? And I enjoyed Uncharted more than I enjoyed Tomb Raider.
It didn't, yeah. According to this, like, it doesn't even according to these official figures, it don't even fucking sniff top 10. It isn't even on the fucking list. Genshin Impact is on here.
This explain why they sold Crystal Dynamic. This company is hemorrhaging money for them. What
Well,
the fuck?
we'll talk that.
We'll
when we
talk
get to
about that in a
topic.
second. What's funny is it even has a cancelled games section for expensive games that didn't even fucking come out, and top one is fucking Halo MMO Titan Project, set 90 million, and then Fable Legends for 75 million.
I actually think a Halo MMO would kind of be successful the way that these, Halo heads, love that franchise.
Oh yeah. I'm not saying it wouldn't. I'm just saying that those two were cancelled, and they both happen to be Microsoft games.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Omar, what do you think about Double Fine finally having success?
Honestly, 2 million, I have absolutely no idea if that's impressive or not, because it's a multiplayer. I'm genuinely.
It doesn't matter if it's a multi-plat. I mean,
It
sales
does.
are sales. If you do, no, it doesn't. If you make all that matters, did you make money or did you not make money? It don't matter how the cat got skinned.
First off, we don't even know how much money the game cost them. Second, it was funded by the game, by the fans. Most of it.
Partially. I won't say most of it.
Hey, fans
No.
did not fund the voice.
It was partially funded by fans. The fans helped. Unless you're going to tell me that they got like $25-30 million worth of funding from fans on GoFundMe. Because that was at least like $100 million game to make. Like close to it. Like it was somewhere between, like it was north of 30 million to make.
No. 13.
Psychonauts?
Do we know
Yeah, it was
how much
13.
Psychonauts?
Yeah, 13.
They raised 13 million?
Psychonauts will
Fans raised 13 million?
Shaver says Psychonauts 2 will cost 13 million to fund. Yep, that is back in 2012. Give me a minute.
So 13, 14 million.
Give me a minute.
Gamers funded.
Yeah, that was before the voice acting and everything else that got added from the Microsoft acquisition. So yeah, that's why I said it cost close to like 30 million to make.
So they funded half the game around.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me double check.
As far as the total, because Microsoft hasn't released how much it spent on that game, we don't know.
You know, when you add in that voice acting and the stuff that they said that they weren't able to do that they were able to do, that adds another.
Okay,
10,
so
15 million.
so the what they did, that was what Tim Schafer was wanting. What he actually got is he netted $3.8 million over 2,400 backers, 24,000 backers.
So 3 million. So it wasn't even half the game.
4. Hold on.
Oh, 4.
a minute, let me
4 million. So
hold on.
almost quarter of the game, not half.
No, not even a quarter. 4 million is not even a quarter. That's less than a quarter.
Yeah, correct.
If the game costs 20 million to make, then yeah, it's a quarter. But anything here,
Okay, so
no.
apparently,
Well, 16 million would be a quarter.
yeah. So beyond it, well, then again, we don't know how much. We don't know how much of Tim Schafer's own money he put into it. Like that was just crowdfunded money. We don't know how much.
Yeah, he's saying that the fans paid for a quarter of the game. I'm saying
in 2018, Xbox helping with additional funds beyond the initial budget of 13.5 million. So the initial budget was 13.5 million. So that would leave, like, say, estimated wise, 9 million that Tim Schafer and his company put in themselves through other investors or themselves. Then I don't know, maybe another 5 million on top of that for voice acting and stuff like that. So, I mean, you do the math, but I would say that's closer. I would say that's more. That is looking around a quarter of the game.
Quarter of the game. So I was correct.
And that's
From
being
the original budget.
the initial budget was 13.5.
13 million.
13.5 million, and like I said, the voice acting probably cost an additional 5 million.
Yes, so that would push it to like 18, which would be
and
less than a quarter. That's what I'm saying. It's less than a quarter.
A little under a quarter.
Yeah, just a little under a quarter. But if we're gonna try and hash it out to the roundest, it would be a quarter.
Should just be happy for them.
Oh, I am happy for them. I'm probably one who bought this up. Omar is.
That's what I'm saying. Like people keep finding ways to throw shade at this. Like it's a good.
No. But hold on. I'm sorry. Don't be political here. Omar always tries to find a way to throw shade. I wasn't. I was just trying to work maths.
No, I'm not throwing shade. I was genuinely curious if that's impressive or not, because I don't know.
Oh, you said it's not impressive because it's a multi-plat.
Yeah, I said it's not impressive because it's a multi-plat. Because you expect more from a multi-plat game.
Not necessarily true. I mean, how much are these platformers, of this style selling?
Stranger,
on average.
Stranger in Paradise hasn't even sold that much. Didn't even crack 100,000 its first week.
Yeah, so I mean, like you gotta keep it in perspective too. Like, how much does that genre typically sell? I mean, if you're keeping it in perspective, like Ratchet and Clank is supposed to be the premier, game that released that year of that genre, and Psychonauts has outsold it. So of course it's impressive, according to figures that have been released to this point. So I mean,
it's
impressive.
Yeah, it's impressive for them because they've never it's their best that they've done. And so
like who's saying that Returnal wasn't impressive? That was said it was a mega hit and it only sold like 600,000 units, but it's impressive. It's a big deal for them. I'm not going to dismiss it.
Studio sold as well. It would have to be, right? Like Returnal had to be huge for them.
It was their biggest title. It sold like 600,000 copies.
Yeah, just like that. It would.
That's
be
why
like,
PlayStation bought
because
them.
you make. Yeah, like it would feel weird if people were like, well, obviously, like your other games weren't that impressive. It's like, no, I mean it's not to bring them down. It's just be like, good job, you guys. You keep raising the bar. So that's why I'm like, I wonder what they're gonna do next. Because like Psychonauts,
if they release Psychonauts 3 with this same type of momentum, it's a good chance that they might crack 3 million.
If I'm correct, they said they're not gonna making Psychonauts 3 anytime soon. So
it takes about 5-6 years to make a game, so they got.
That's Tim. No. Tim Schafer takes like 7 fucking years.
Yeah, Tim Schafer takes close to 10, bro.
I'm expecting them to work on a different. I'm expecting them to work on a different IP now.
Well, Microsoft is expanding teams, so Double Fine could be working on 2 games at once. Those things are possible.
I'm very curious.
That was the topic was going to be.
Okay, you were close on that mark, Jube. You were very close on that mark because obviously Psychonauts 2 came out in 2021. The original Psychonauts came out in 2005. So more like 16 years.
To be fair, after it they made a few games like Brutal Legend and something else.
Again, you just need to look at the fucking history of Double Fine. You'll realize the reason why it takes so long to make for them to get the next game out is because they take so long fucking around with other games like Brutal Legend.
Yeah, so I'm sure that they have new teams, that they've built a couple new teams since they've been acquired, and that Microsoft have kind of helped them organize so that they're kind of more streamlined and all that other good stuff. So
yeah,
I'm sure it won't take 10 years for the next Double Fine game to come out.
Maybe not.
I'm sure you'll get at least one more this generation.
I doubt that. I fucking doubt that.
I'll put my neck up and say you'll get at least one more Double Fine game this generation.
Okay, one more Double Fine game, probably, but it's probably not going to be in the scale of Psychonauts. It's probably going to be something small like Cave Story. Right, now speaking of small, looks like Square Enix is downsizing. We're just going to abbreviate this so we can catch up on the time we spent on that fucking Psychonauts 2 crap. Square Enix just sold off a chunk of their Western development arm for $300 million to Embracer. Now, if I recall correctly, Embracer are the same company that is behind that purchased or that is behind THQ Nordic and also acquired Deep Silver, if I recall correctly. So Embracer is making some big moves, like some seriously big fucking moves. And obviously adding Crystal Dynamics, Eidos Montreal, Square Enix Montreal, which gives them Tomb Raider, Deus Ex Thief, and Legacy of Kain. God, I hope that means we get a new Legacy of Kain game.
Sleeping Dog. Sleeping Dog also.
Yeah, I guess. But
You're not a fan?
oh no, I like it. I just like the franchise it spun off from more. Because
I wish the franchise.
Yeah, I was ready to say, if you know your history, you know that originally it was supposed to be called True Crime Hong Kong. But then...
I remember.
And I love True Crime Streets of LA and True Crime New York City. I love those games. But yeah, so it seems like... And funny enough, it seems like just the other day... Oh, wait, no, sorry. It was the other fucking week. We were talking about how Square bought out that statement that Japanese developers shouldn't try and make Western games.
Yeah.
Well, what they got and done? Got rid of like most of their fucking Western developers. But here's the kicker. Like, first of all, I wish these guys good luck with their new overlords at Embracer. And they've done good work. Like Embracer, the people who've been under them, we got the revival of the Darksiders series, we got the revival of the Destroy Human series. Unfortunately, they are the ones bringing us that fucking dumb, stupid ass fucking Saints Row reboot. But I'm hoping once this fails, they'll kick the ass of the people who thought that was a good idea and tell them to make a good fucking Saints Row game. But the problem is all this selling, all of this was to get capital for blockchain. This dumb son of a bitch, this daffy, doofus-looking motherfucker right here is doubling down on blockchains in games.
Yeah, that's messed up. Like, I was like, oh, this is interesting, their move, but that final sentence. And it's crazy that we just got this after what's his name? Reggie Fils-Aimé said, talked about blockchain as well.
Yeah, Reggie, yeah, your Lord and fucking Savior, Zero, your Lord and fucking Savior, Reggie Fils-Aimé is big on blockchain. What the fuck?
Yep.
What the fuck? I'm glad he's not in Nintendo anymore, but because of that statement. But seriously, what the fuck is going on? Why are people doubling down on something the gaming community has quite literally fucking spelled out we do not want? We don't want it. We don't want NFTs. We don't want this shit. The community has fucking spoken, so why are we being ignored by Square Enix? Why?
Because of the opportunity to make money if it takes off.
No, go on.
Yep.
Jubei, continue, please. Give us your thoughts on this. First of all, the selling of the Western arm of Square Enix, but also them doubling down on blockchain.
I posted that shit in our chat.
I
was like, no fucking way. But I'm actually just surprised that they did something like that. Embracer Group is a big ass fucking group now. Like, they have a fuck ton of studios now.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's batting an eye at that or crying about it. You know,
They
Twitter,
are in a
asking
different
their
country.
congressmen to tell them to fuck off.
They
I
are
get it.
not in the USA though.
it doesn't matter, motherfucker.
I mean, they still
They're
they're still
from
gonna, if they want to
Sweden.
If they want to sell their product here,
what the fuck
if they
kind of
want to
Congress do?
sell, if they want to sell their product here, they still have to go through government regulations, just like we do in America when we have stake in shit that exists in other
Now,
countries too.
here's the
It's the
thing.
same shit.
Let's actually look at who Embracer actually own. So Embracer own THQ Nordic, as I mentioned. They own Deep Silver, which also encompasses Koch Media. Remember Koch Media? That fucking awful E3 presentation they did. They just wanted to show you their Koch. They own Coffee Stain, who really, if you know them for anything, it's fucking Goat Simulator. Amplify. They also own Saber Interactive, the guys behind the really underrated, in my opinion, World War Z, and oh yeah, a little known game coming out soon as well. What was it? Oh yeah, Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2. They own DISA, which is a mobile company, I believe. They own Gearbox Software. And for some reason, Randy Pitchford still fucking works there. They own Easy Brain, as Mode. But here's an interesting one that I actually only learned about just the other day. I didn't actually know that Embracer Group owned Dark Horse Media.
I thought not Reggie Pitchfork, what's his name? Pitchfork left Gearbox Studio. He is no longer with Gearbox.
Let me see. No, he's still the president and CEO.
Huh? Is this not the bad magician? Yeah.
Hold on. Pitchford left Gearbox to become president and CEO of Gearbox Entertainment Company and president of Gearbox Studios.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so like I said, unfortunately, he's still fucking there. In some way, he's still fucking there somehow. I don't know how this man continues to have a fucking job. I don't. Okay.
Yeah,
okay. I gotta jump off my Randy hate. But now we can add.
Why do I hate him?
Because I think he's a scummy piece of shit who took a lot of bonuses for no discernible reason. Attacked people who had valid criticism about Aliens Colonial Marines and still thinks that game deserves a fucking 7 out of 10, which is just baffling to me. And constantly mentioning the Duke Nukem license despite doing jack shit with it. So, fuck it.
Yeah.
And he's also done a lot of other things as well. Anyway, yeah, so now you can own the IDOS and Crystal Dynamic and that too. Embraces group, so they own one, two. Well, to be fair, Deep Silver has a lot of studios under them, I believe. Fucking sure Deep Silver has a lot of, because I think they own. Don't Deep Silver own? I'm trying to. Oh no, Deep Silver. Deep Silver is a game developer and publisher as well. I completely forgot. But yeah, I mean, no, they're a big group. But and I'm happy for them. It's good to see these guys come from out of nowhere. My first acknowledgement of these guys was the formation of THQ Nordic, and like the Darksiders return, as well as like SpongeBob got up in Bikini Bottom rehydrated.
I love Darksiders, but Darksiders 3.
Darksiders 3 is good now. Darksiders 3 is better when they added the classic mode.
It's a letdown, yeah.
But yeah, no, I'm glad. I'm glad for him. But no, sorry, Jubei, please continue on your point. I was just filling people in information.
Yeah. Like I said, I'm just really surprised that they did something like that. I'm kind of happy because maybe, I mean, they said they're gonna focus more into NFTs and shit, but then they're also gonna be sticking with game genres that they actually do well. Without too much backlash. Like, I don't think they would have been able to keep up Outriders, going forward as far as content and shit like that. Like, that wasn't going to happen. I don't know. They just, to me, I don't really like a lot of their more Western games, to be honest. So I'm just kind of happy they kind of jettisoned a lot of that. They do still have Western shit left, but just seeing them get rid of that chunk, my hope is that they can bring out better products. Cause like at this point, without that distraction of having all this, like Final Fantasy 16 better be fucking fire. Like I'm tired of this up and down curve that we have going on here, with this title and how like the most recent game is a fucking MMO. Like it's not even like an actual regular title. So here's hoping we get better quality from them from what they do best.
Yeah, I'd somewhat agree. Like I think a lot of their Western games have been hit and miss, but I feel like when they hit, they fucking hit. Like I said, I think Guardians of the Galaxy is a fucking. I think that's a fucking winner chicken dinner game. That.
Yeah, that's an amazing game. But on the other side, you have Tomb Raider, Shadow of the Tomb Raider, which is a horrible game.
I don't like any of the new Tomb Raider. I don't necessarily like a lot of the Tomb Raider games because they're just the same fucking thing. It's just an open world. Go here, do one thing, and then later you'll get a cutscene kind of fucking thing. I don't like that. Zero, what do you think?
This was like the news of the day, really. Like,
Hold on, Zero. One more thing. They also did that shit dirt fucking cheap. 300 mil for as many IPs and all that shit that they got.
Yeah,
that's
but they also got
damn
a debt.
bargain.
Gone.
That's a damn
got
bargain.
1 million debt with it as well, so 4 mil.
That is
301
insane.
mil.
Yeah, that's still crazy for the amount of shit that you get. Like, that's crazy.
I said, I think regardless of how people feel about Tomb Raider, it did sell very, very well. So I was like, wow, that seemed awfully low for Tomb Raider. Just like not even just Tomb Raider. Like, oh, okay.
Am I reading this right?
So like cool. Square Enix got to do what they got to do. They was like, listen, man, we don't want to do it no more. We'll take what we can get. And Embracer was like, I got you. Take this 300 mil. And we'll walk away. Everybody's happy here. I hope this proves well for those IPs and those studios.
True.
Because it's clear if Square Enix wasn't going to do anything with them, it's better that they just didn't hold on to them a la Konami and just have them sit there than to let someone else have them.
Who the fuck does Konami still have?
Do they not still own Castlevania?
Oh no, okay, yeah, they still own them. I thought you were like studios. I was like, what fucking studios do they actually have?
No, they're IP. All the IP, all the stuff people want Konami to make, like they ain't doing, and they're not giving it to anybody else. So they're just like, okay. So I think it's still part of the consolidation thing, but like, admittedly, I was a bit naive on just how few companies own everything in the video game space. And truth be told, it's probably always been this way. I might be looking back on my youth with like rose-colored glasses. Like I remember when just Enix was its own thing, or each little company. Who the hell made Parappa the Rapper? Like, does that company exist anymore? Stuff like that. So I don't, but it probably was always this way from the jump, right? Like there was a small few. At one point, Sega probably owned a good portion of them, and they split off and went everywhere. So like that's what I have to deal with. But Embracer, so far from what I've seen of them, at least looked up, they seem to be okay. Their sort of message seems to be designed around like we really want to make sure developers are taken care of, and that they can put out the products that they want to put out comfortably without all the negative buzzwords that we hear about currently. I agree with Jubei. Still feels incredibly cheap.
But again, I did put in the conversion rate of what that is in Japanese yen. I don't know how much that fucking means, considering the yen isn't doing that well right now. But like that actually has a lot of zeros.
Actually, I do have an idea of why it might also be cheap. Because they lost a fuck ton of money with Avengers, right?
Yeah.
What if to take on some of that debt and balance that out, they ended up having to pay
Not-
less on the top end.
This feels
No.
like, yeah, I agree with that. It
I
feels
feel like
a
this was like a
different.
money dump. It's like a salad. It's like in salary cap where you dump off like contracts and
Yes,
shit. Like,
Not
it's like a
only-
different
that's what it feels
thing
like.
than what WB's doing.
Mhm.
We know we've got good stuff here. We're gonna wait till you come to us and like give us your best offer. Where
Right.
Square Enix is like, all right, we gotta get rid of this. We
Yeah,
need
they had
money
to cut
now.
their
It seems
losses.
to be hemorrhaging money if you hear how much Tomb Raider cost and the Guardian, not Guardian of the
The
Galaxy, the
Avengers.
other one.
Oh my god,
Avengers cost.
it's almost like I've talked about this like for fucking ages when I mentioned that the Avengers get made Square Enix this big giant fucking crater of lost money, and they're just trying to
Man,
throw
we've all
money
been saying the
into
same
it.
thing.
Yeah, we all did the same thing.
By the way,
And-
to answer your question, it was Nana Onsha. They're the ones who made Parappa the Rapper, and yes, they are still around. Their last game they made was in 2016.
Huh? Wonder what they're doing. So like also they're out of that sort of weird Square Enix thumb where it's like Guardians of the Galaxy sells really well. Well, it's not what we wanted Guardians to sell for. It's like, well, come on, it can't be this $1 billion franchise. It will never be that. Like,
But we don't know how much Guardian cost, and to be honest, with the amount of licensed music that's in there, I would not be surprised if they lost money instead of gain money from this game.
possible, but like it's hard to say. I'd be more willing to bet that
Disney
like
hit 'em
they
with the
have
Marvel
unrealistic expectations about what the game should sell. And
Well,
like,
I think they had I think they had very unrealistic expectations from Kingdom Hearts that they thought every Disney property they sold was just going to be like
Licensed to print money.
gangbusters.
this massive
Yeah.
banger of a thing. It's like, no.
Yeah.
Kingdom Hearts is its own special thing, and like it's special because of that. Guardian, like it's feeling like they didn't want to make any like mid-tier games. Particularly if they had to spend any real money on them. Like they're like obviously like Bravely Default's still around. Or maybe as what we talked about last week, maybe they just don't want to make any mid-tier Western game.
They didn't like with Avengers, they didn't make the game. They didn't think about what gamers wanted. They thought about what they wanted. And thought that gamers would just take it and, love it. And that just didn't work out that way. Like if they would have made Avengers the same way that in the same, style that Insomniac made Spider-Man, where it was just, this, great game that you play. There's just, closed environment. There's not all this, crazy DLC and getting hit with a store every time you log in to play the game and all that other stuff. It would have done much better.
It would have propelled them to new heights with that one.
So like, hopefully these, I don't know where Tomb Raider goes from here. I mean, I don't think Tomb Raider's dead. Cause
No,
Tomb Raider,
no,
like,
it's not dead.
it'll-
Hold up.
So,
Hold up. I need to correct you on that one. It's not dead.
He said he
They're
doesn't
making a
think it's
new
dead.
one.
He didn't say it was dead. He said
Yeah,
he doesn't
I
think
don't-
it's dead.
It needs
Oh, sorry, I
needs to
misheard.
be
I mis-
retooled back to like
I
I.
misheard you.
I know people hate this fucking comparison, but Uncharted is a better fucking Tomb Raider game than Tomb Raider, in my opinion.
it is. I think as time has gone on, they're doing different things, and so like I think Tomb Raider needs to like very clearly separate itself and do the different thing it wants to do. Like, because it's not
think
going to be
Square
Uncharted's the
was-
better game now.
Like, what happened to the exotic locales? What happened to
Exactly.
tomb raiding? We became a
It should
fucking
literally be Tomb Raider.
yeah. We literally became by fucking Shadow of the Tomb Raider. We became a fucking guerrilla fighter.
You know what the crazy part is, and here what I'm gonna be super mad about. Do you want to know where the fucking Tomb raiding went? It went to fucking DLC. 15 tombs were behind DLC. I didn't buy that. I forgot.
Yeah, that's all Square. Like that Square was getting in the way of a lot of stuff that Crystal Dynamics and these Western studios that they own were trying to do.
I remember playing the Shadow of the Tomb Raider game, and I'm like, the tombs are very interesting. I'm enjoying them. They're creative. They're fun. And when I heard the fucking developer talk about 15 Doom behind DLC, I lost my shit.
As aside from you normally.
So, like, perhaps this brings back Deus Ex. Maybe somebody can do something with that, because it seems like Square probably was never going to touch that again.
They probably weren't. Not after
I
They
was
just,
not
they just didn't
understand-
understand. They didn't understand what those developers needed to make the games that they wanted them to make.
No, I disagree though, because Human Revolution was a fucking stellar fucking game. It was amazing, in fact. The problem is like they hampered themselves and made a lot of bad choices when it came to the design development of Mankind Divided. Like, that wasn't a Square Enix problem. That was the developer themselves. That they got in their own way.
But I mean, we're talking about what led to this recent sale was the failure that is Avengers and
Yeah, I know. I'm
Outriders,
just telling you, like, they probably weren't. It wasn't Square Enix that got in the way of Deus Ex. It was the developers kind of shot themselves in the foot. I need to play Deus Ex. I've got it installed as well.
Yes. So, like, again, just like the last one, I hope these guys find a new home and, like, we get new games out of this. There's a studio who does not seem interested in making them, or just can't anymore, can't focus on making them. I would much rather them sort of go out into the ether than, like, disappear completely.
Just give me a Legacy of Kain. I need another Soul Reaver.
Maybe we'll get a Legacy of Kain.
Just give me a Soul Reaver game.
I
Give me a fucking Legacy of Kain remake. Fuck, I just need that. Like, we have gone too long without knowing the fucking majesty that is Legacy of Kain. Alright, does anybody have any closing thoughts on Square Enix? Hold on. I think I speak for everybody, by the way, and hope that Square Enix's blockchain fiasco fails and they finally get their heads out of their asses and go back to making games.
This might be a PlayStation or other company coming in and buying them now.
No.
Yes. Not in the immediate future, but it does set up for that.
In my opinion, it does not. In my opinion, if blockchain, like, they are heavily invested in blockchain, if blockchain fails, then they will sell.
That's what we just said. Not immediate. But
no. Omar was saying that it puts them up for. It's them moving for sale. No, in my opinion, they're now putting all their eggs in one basket. If blockchain fails and they can't capitalize on it, they're going to sell.
Mm-hmm.
They will literally have dug their own grave, put the gun in their own mouths, and pulled the fucking trigger themselves. At that point, they'll have no other choice.
And one thing about that is literally, from some of it, Crystal Dynamics seem to be hammering money for them. The way they've been, but it's all come down to Square Enix themselves management. It's like they couldn't understand how to manage them properly, where to set the limit when it comes to what's called Tomb Raider.
I need to know where you're getting. I need to know where you're getting this idea that Crystal Dynamic was hemorrhaging the money.
Dude,
look at their failed products. They were in charge of Avengers, bro. What?
Here's the thing. No. Here's the thing.
But in large, Crystal Dynamics was profitable.
How much did
Hold on. Here's the thing. Okay, so here's the thing. Right? I'm not gonna deny that Avengers was a flop. But Crystal Dynamic, by and large, has been more profitable for Square Enix than they have been hemorrhaging money. Here's the problem, and this is completely out of Crystal Dynamics' hands. It isn't Crystal Dynamics' fault that Square Enix went out and spent so much goddamn money getting the Avengers. Like, if this was any other if the Avengers game was any other fucking game, or if you'd have just palette swapped everybody, fucking facelifts, like generic character number 1, 2, 3, 4. If it wasn't Avengers, this game would have lost less money because it wasn't Avengers. It lost more money because of Square Enix, not because of Crystal Dynamics. It lost more money because it was Avengers.
They bought a premier license at a time when it was doing out of this world numbers. That falls more on Square than it does on Crystal Dynamics.
Like, yeah, at
the time they bought that Avengers license, it was more valuable than it had ever been at any other time.
Yeah, because Infinity War had just come out, hadn't it?
Yeah, it was between Infinity War and Endgame that that the Avengers game released.
Yeah. So and again, like that's not speaking on like the monetization of the game. That might not have been in Crystal Dynamics' hands itself. And again, going to what I said before, like, it's a personal preference of the video game, but when if the Hulk was replaced by fuck's sake, if he was fucking replaced by El Generico and wasn't a Hulk, I'd forgive more that it would take more than 2 punches to send a dude into fucking orbit. If it was El Generico and not the Hulk. Because I wouldn't expect that from El Generico. But if it was the Hulk, I'd expect 1 punch to orbit a motherfucker. It all comes down to context. But again, a lot of the decisions that hemorrhaged that hampered that game and hemorrhaged it money fall square at the feet of Square Enix. When it comes down to monetization and buying a license.
But you're acting like you're acting like they're not Square Enix employees, though.
Oh no! Here's the thing.
One's failure is a failure for everyone. It doesn't really matter. Like, you can't say, "Oh, this is Square." Like, they're part of Square Enix. Like,
okay.
Yes, it's a given. It's a fucking Square Enix fucking failure. But they're the face of their making this product.
It's not fair to lay it all at Crystal Dynamics.
You're jumping on me for no particular reason. For the simple reason,
I'm not jumping on you. I'm just saying, like, I'm just trying to see why the split, like.
Oh, the reason why it's split is because
Crystal Dynamics was Square Enix at that.
The reason why I'm splitting it like that is because Omar is making it out like the entirety, like every single facet of failure behind the Avengers was Crystal Dynamics' fault, and they hemorrhaged, and they're the reason they hemorrhaged hundreds of millions of dollars.
No, I literally said that Square Enix management failed to execute it. I literally said they were not able to manage the studio.
Yeah, after I said
that. I want to say something. Here's the thing. I understand how the Avengers, how as a Hulk, you're supposed to one shot a person and stuff like that. But is that not the same thing with Kratos in God of War? Like, he is a fucking demigod. Should he not one shot?
But he's fighting monsters. He's not fighting regular ass people. Like Hulk, like there should be a bunch of pink paste every time Hulk swings his fucking arms in that game.
And second, the one time in the God of War 2019, you fight actual humans, because there is a point. Kratos dispatches them with ease
in one hit. Yeah, one hit. Period.
So, yes, Omar, I literally just completely demolished your argument.
Yeah, like if they were gonna have the Hulk and Avengers, like the only time Hulk should have been playable is when it was time to like
fight
really
Abomination,
fuck up a big boss. Yeah,
literally
like,
Abomination.
Unless it was a big boss, you shouldn't have been playing as Hulk for the most part.
But they're literally Thor, and Thor can literally obliterate you in a second.
Thor is the exact same thing. No, Thor.
And even and same with what's his name, Iron Man. It's like no matter
No. Iron Man falls into a different category because Iron Man's suit is not invulnerable. Hulk's skin is invulnerable, and Iron Man's skin does not.
Iron Man's suit has non-lethal, it has non-lethal options. There's no non-lethal option for Hulk. Like there's no such thing.
Oh, except in holding
There's
back.
only one thing: smash.
Yeah,
exactly. That's it.
Like the thing is Hulk is literally fucking bulletproof. It has been proven over time that you would need special rounds to take down the Hulk. And yeah, I see Mr. Motherfucker with a Glock 18 over there fucking shit taking my health away, and I'm like,
You mean
why?
you need special rounds to piss off the Hulk?
Yeah, like you wouldn't take him out. You definitely piss
Oh
him off.
no, there are rounds in the Marvel comics that can kill the Hulk.
I don't understand what you're saying because we literally, I have heard the same argument when it comes to the Division.
The Division is just garbage. I don't believe in bullet sponges at all.
That is the thing is with the Division is it is the okay. So to explain this as easy and as simple as I can, a regular enemy. If you are playing, like I said, Mr. El Generico, you know what, Captain America, because with Captain America it would make sense. Captain America, it does make sense that maybe he needs to take 3-4 hits to take out a dude. Maybe. Okay. With him, it makes sense. Okay? And it makes sense that a dude goes down in 3 or 4 hits. It would make sense for a dude in armor, like big giant armor, to take twice as many. The problem with the Division is the same enemy you face throughout the entire game will take more and more bullets the more and more you go through the game with no aesthetic changes to why he should be taking more bullets. He's not wearing armor, he's not wearing a faceplate, he's not got a fucking force field around him. He's just taking more bullets. And that's another problem with Avengers, is a lot of enemies and not necessarily to that extent, but it's also the suspension of belief. Like, I do not believe that the Hulk would take I do not believe that the Hulk could not orbit most of these guys with a flick of his finger, but he doesn't. Same with Thor. Thor should be able to fucking Mjolnir them motherfuckers up to Asgard, but he can't. The only ones that it makes sense that they would probably take more effort to take out a normal enemy is Black Widow, Captain America, and Iron Man. Because Iron Man uses non-lethal rounds, his suit is not impenetrable. It isn't. It is sustainable to damage. We have seen that through comics and the movies. And we've seen that in some instances, it's harder for him to take out multiple enemies at once because, he's human. He's just in a fucking suit.
So, when you're gaming, is it difficult for you to put your disbelief when it comes to stuff? I'm curious, because for me, if I'm gaming, I'm just gonna game.
Oh no, yeah, no. It depends. It depends on the setting and circumstance. Settings and circumstance mean everything. If I'm in a universe that I know very well, like the Avengers universe, and I see the Hulk take multiple hits to take out one dude. It kind of breaks the immersion from it, and then the grind and the cycle, the loop is more obvious to me.
Yeah, this is like Avengers shouldn't have been a game where you have to level up. Just saying, like they're superheroes; they should be super from beginning to end. That's just my opinion. Like they should they earn new like tools and things like that allow you to expand what that character can do? Yeah, but
Spider-Man levels up though, and Spider-Man does a lot of damage.
Okay, but the difference is Spider-Man. A lot of the here's the difference: Spider-Man, regular enemies take the same amount of hits no matter what to take down. And there's actually a distinct difference between certain enemies that take more hits and certain enemies that you need to take a different approach to. Like the shield guys, you need to get rid of their shield before you can damage them. But they take the same amount of hits as the regular guys. They just happen to have a shield. The guys with the whips, they take the same amount of damage, but you just need to alternate your attacks because they can block a lot of this shit. The only ones that take more damage because they legitimately look like they could take more damage is the big fuck dudes.
Yeah, the bad guy.
So Spider-Man is, so again, like, there's the apples and oranges there.
Yeah, and like, to me, with the leveling up in Spider-Man, like when Spider-Man combats these characters, it doesn't feel like he gets stronger and he knocks out the characters
health. It's his
more
health
easily.
That goes up.
It's just he gets more techniques that you use as you level him up, like the
and more resilient.
leveling up. Yeah, he gets more resilient, and you're able to kind of traverse through the city more easily. Able to do more tricks. You're able to do more combat moves. It's not like necessarily like I'm leveling up to make Spider-Man stronger. I'm leveling up Spider-Man to unlock more abilities for him throughout the game. It's not like
the Spider
he's getting. It doesn't feel like it never feels like Spider-Man is getting stronger throughout the game. You get what I'm saying? Like Spider-Man is Spider-Man throughout beginning to end of the game. You just unlock more things that he can do.
Yeah, like and you don't get. To Farrah's point, you don't get stronger, but you get abilities and gadgets that aid you when the game throws more enemies at you for more crowd control, which is effectively what a lot of Spider-Man's arsenal is crowd control. Like, I can take out one dude, but if there's 5 other dudes coming at me and a dude shooting a rocket at me, I need a way to control I need a way to control B, C, D, E, and F while I take care of A.
Yeah, like you get new suits, and those new suits have different abilities. It's just different. They do it different. Like, they're not making Spider-Man stronger by leveling up, in my opinion.
No, you're not. It's not an opinion. It's fact.
Yeah, so
I mean, kind of. There are stuff that gives you like buffs to like damage and shit, but that's
like you get more. Like, you get tougher, but you don't necessarily get stronger.
No, there's only there's only one that gives you straight out more damage, but even then, it's only for a short period of time. It's not something that's a permanent fixture. Like, it's the suit that gives you quadruple damage. But even then, like I said, it's not a permanent thing. It's only something you get when you fill up the meter and you've performed well enough in combat that you get the ability to use it. That would be the equivalent of Hulk. Building up a rage meter to the point where suddenly he becomes invulnerable to all forms of damage. Like, that would be the equivalent to, like, if Insomniac had done the Avengers game, that would be the equivalent of what Hulk would get. Like, Hulk would just get damage immunity. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Alright, anybody else got anything they want to add? Okay.
I don't think so, man. Just a hell of a deal for that shit, man.
Hell of a deal.
It all depends what you're gonna do with it.
Yeah.
Hopefully the IPs, shine through. I would love another Legacy of Kain.
Well, the Embracer Group seems to be pretty liberal with their studios and what they're allowed to do.
They've yet to make another Darksiders. We're waiting on Darksiders 4.
Well, to be fair, we did get Darksiders Genesis. That came out in 2019, I think.
That was nice, but that was just an appetizer.
Well, yeah, you gotta give them time, because you gotta remember THQ Nordic is also working on the Destroy All Humans series now as well.
Which game?
Destroy All Humans.
Oh,
They got Destroy All Humans 2 Reprobed coming out, and that's that's THQ Nordic. It's the Black Forest Games. Sorry, that's Black Forest Games, and they're the guys who did Darksiders. So again, you kind of got to give them time. Like, this is one of those be patient and wait kind of things. All right. Well, did they do Dark? No, they didn't do Dark Souls. Who the fuck did Dark Souls? Anyway. All right. Let's get some
Sure.
outro.
I thought Darksiders was THQ Nordic.
No, it
so I
is.
thought
No,
that was
they
American.
published it. THQ Nordic published it, I believe.
Nah.
I don't know if they made it, but I know they published it because I played it. I love the Darksiders games. I don't know. I can't fucking remember who the hell made the fucking.
Um,
Oh, it was Gunfire Games. It was Gunfire Games that made. Yeah, it's Gunfire Games, and they literally came out with a game last year, which was Chronos Before the Ashes. Like they've been keeping busy. So, like I said, give them time.
Yeah.
Give them time. All right, Jubei, outros. Give us your outro, Jubei.
Yo, you can find me at Jubei X Sensei on gaming platforms. Jubei Sensei on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. I'm actually looking forward to diving into Halo Infinite Season 2 tomorrow, so that'll be on the docket of things. See how quickly I'm gonna finish this battle pass before I get irritated because of lack of content.
Co-op should be coming out in August, apparently.
Yeah, I haven't finished the campaign because of that.
I'm sorry.
Apparently, a rumored battle royale.
I'm sorry. Did I just hear that right? You didn't finish the campaign because it's not finished.
No, not even that. I was doing like I was collecting all the skulls. Like this was my run for that, and I just kind of was like, this is just gonna be more fun with somebody else. So I just kind of just stopped playing. So I haven't touched single player in like months since like last November.
All right. Omar, give us your outro.
Great job. People can find me _job on Twitter and GameSlayer every Friday, every Saturday, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and Anime Squad every Friday, 5 p.m. with Zero.
All right, Farrell, give us your outro.
And it's your boy Pharaoh. You can find me on Twitter at Pharaoh Bizarre and Twitch, Facebook, YouTube, Land of Pharaoh. All right, Pharaoh.
All right, cool. You can find me at Dante Crisis on Instagram, Twitter, The Dante Crisis on Facebook. You can also check me out at Dante Crisis on YouTube, Twitch, and DLive. I upload Let's Plays on my YouTube channel on the weekdays, and I stream on the weekdays as well. Different game each day. Come by and enjoy. Today is going to be, Tuesday is going to be Super Mario 64. Wednesday is going to be Elden Ring. Thursday is probably going to be a chill game because I haven't got the scenes yet for Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. And Friday is going to be a chill stream again. Zero, where can people find you? But more importantly, where can people find us? And I hope you brought your script.
I don't need no scripts. Straight off the top, because I used to be a rapper back in the day. I gave it up for a better life, an easier life. Anyway, guys, you can find me zero.exe pretty much everywhere. Currently still playing Elden Ring, but truth be told, you won't find me anywhere because I don't do online in Elden Ring just yet. Not until probably I finish the game. But of course, far more importantly than myself, you can find us, Vitamin G Podcast, at all of your favorite places to listen to podcasts. I don't know what's hot in the podcast world right now. Like, anybody doing anything crazy? Will Smith stuff's died down. That's it, right? Like, ain't nothing hot in the streets to talk about.
Nope.
So, just we're gonna be there wherever you like to listen to your favorite stuff. We're also there, and so because of that, like, give us a listen, give us a like, give us a comment, subscribe. Send over your favorite recipe. Like, tell Dante what your favorite brand of Gatorade is. Mine is blue.
Everyone gets red.
Yeah, we'll see. Everybody has flaws apparently, and like
Hydration isn't a priority.
Yeah, like drink your Gatorade, guys. Come on, let's get here. Or water, I guess. But apparently some people get upset when you say drink your water. But we're not going to discuss that. So
you read that. Damn.
please, like, comment, and subscribe with us, guys. We really do appreciate that you do, because you literally could be doing anything else, but you decided to listen to us instead. And always, even though we come here, we separate and always do our own thing. Now, although it's beginning to be a bit more incestuous, where you will find one of us in another one of ours' opportunities. So please check out Pharaoh and Land of Pharaoh for gaming, Madden, most things sports. Pharaoh, you should probably pick up FIFA. I bet that would like expand your audience tenfold.
Probably.
Jubei, X Sensei, everywhere except for Twitter, because he's just not on there. Please go play. Well, go now. I was about to say fighting games. No, go play him in Master Duel. I'm gonna get in there. I'm close. I'm gonna get in there. I'm gonna get my.
You gotta
tools
get
up,
in here, bro. You gotta get in
then,
here, bro.
I'm gonna send you to the Shadow Realm and be done. Of course, please check out our fearless leader, currently Dante Crisis. I am there on Wednesdays for the Elden Ring streams, which are absolutely a blast. Subscribe to that Patreon, hit those like buttons, hit that bell, all that good YouTube stuff that they need to do to like make money and survive. And of course, don't forget Omar with Game Slayer, 6 p.m. Saturdays, Eastern Standard Time.
Not 5?
I thought you said 6. You tell
I
me.
thought 5. We all doing it 5 nowadays.
Oh, it's your show.
No,
Like,
no. I'm just confused. Like, I always thought 5. Did the time change again?
no. I just got it
That's
wrong.
why you need a script.
Yeah, you let me know what time your show is. If it's 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Saturdays. And then Anime Squad also 5 o'clock Eastern Standard Time on Fridays, of which I will be there. So like, if you like to hear people talk and be nerds about anime, it's a cool show. Check it out. Do all those things that I told you before, like, comment, subscribe, and your favorite Gatorade flavor. But as always, guys, we appreciate you and thanks for listening.
Yes, and remember, keep it hydrated and keep it gaming. Okay, we out of here. Peace.
Later.
I'm on the outside looking in, and I wanna be back on the inside. I don't wanna be left on the outside, all alone. All alone.
You rockin' with beats, discussing the heat in the streets. Take over the west and the east. I got what you need.